The 23 squad AmaGlu-Glug are preparing for their international game when they face the Palestinians on the 29th of March for the All-Africa Games, where they'll begin their qualification campaign against Sudan. In studio this evening, welcome coach Owen da Gama, who has a long history in South African football and still going. Good evening, coach. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine. And how are you, Pearl?
I'm fantastic.
Great.
Now, Owen, we haven't seen or heard much from the AmaGlu-Glug in a while until your appointment last year. What are the plans for the under-23 going forward?
Look, I think the whole plan of SAFA is the Vision 2022, which is basically setting the conveyor belt in motion from the grassroots levels. They've started with the under-13, under-15 leagues. Then there's the under-17s who've qualified for the World Cup for the first time in the history of SAFA, and the under-20s that are the COSAFA Zone 6 champions. And now we're bringing the last phase, the last building block into place, which is the under-23s. And as you will imagine, the under-23s compete in the All-African Games as well as the Olympic Games. We have to go through the qualifiers, and if you don't go through the qualifiers within that year, you're basically dormant for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But the whole vision has changed, that there'll be continuity. And just to imagine, I mean, just to give you a small scenario, that in 2020, our under-17s will qualify for the Olympics. So this whole conveyor belt system, it's the main plan. We have to compete consistently. We have to get exposure. As they say, exposure drives character.
Yes.
Our boys need this. We need to be competing. Ghana has been competing consistently at this level for the last 10 years, whereas we have to now kick this into motion and just get our players more involved and to compete at international level. This is very important because it's very difficult for a player to be selected for Bafana
Yes.
and he's got no international experience. So the whole idea is to get as much experience and to do well in all these competitions.
And this game against Palestine, how did that come about?
Well, it actually short notice, and but I mean, we couldn't let this pass our way.
So it was an invitation?
It was an invitation, and we grabbed this with both hands. We had a short time to prepare, but we successfully put together a team, and we'll be departing tomorrow.
Now, when we think AmaGlu-Glug, we all think back to 1999. I think those were the team's glory days. We all think of the Africa Games that come to mind.
Yeah.
What is your vision for this team that is now coming back into the spotlight and has the intention to be competing intensely internationally?
Yeah, look, I think we can take a leaf out of that book of that era. If you look at Bradley Carnell, you look at, there were 3-4 players that actually competed in 2 Olympic Games up until Australia. So, the continuity there, the fact that they were competing at high level, the success of '96, all this emulated into a very successful group of a golden era that was produced. So this is exactly, it's for the first time, Pearl, that I, as a South African, see a blueprint actually being put into place and experiencing this firsthand.
Yeah.
I mean, we are getting exposed to so many players at this stage. And from the selections, there are players from the SAB League that have been selected. That successful team that Neil Tovey put together, we have selected 2 players from there. So this is, it's interesting times, but we've got to remember that this is a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. Development is a journey, and that's why there's a vision put into place, and Vision 2022, it's the vision in place.
Let's talk more about the team and how it was all structured. I see you've got that trio from Orlando Pirates coming in, and they're pretty much young guys, and this experience is good for them to build them towards, of course, again, going to Bafana and all those teams. How has the team come together? How much time did it take for you to make these selections? And are you seeing good chemistry? How are the preps coming along?
Yeah, look, unfortunately, I cannot divulge or announce the team. That will be done officially tomorrow. But as you know, these boys are naughty. They, they tweet and they say, the team, that type of thing. But it's been quite interesting because there's a variety there's a good mixture of players that have been selected. First and foremost, there are about 10 players that have got under 17 and under 20 international caps. So that gives us a bit of continuity and a bit of stability there. Then there are players from the reserve leagues in the Premier League, players from the AB Motsipe League, players from the SAB League. So, and we had also invited about 20 players from the LFE leagues. So there's a lot of talent in our country, but we need time, please.
No pressure at all, Coach. Thank you so much for your time this evening. That is the coach for the under-23, Mr. Owen da Gama. What I can gather from him is that there is a great mix of talent coming into this under-23 squad, and we are sure to see great things from them, of course, with some time. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back straight after this.